Hi, I'm Heather. Welcome to class. Today we're going to do back bends for stiffer bodies. We'll be working on mobilizing the thoracic spine, the upper back, and then see how that can inform us with some of our beginner back bends. And before we begin, I invite you to subscribe to this channel, to like and comment and share this video so those actions help YouTube's algorithm share this content with other people who are searching for inspiration for their yoga practice.
Before we begin, if you find this video helpful, be sure to like and subscribe.
We're going to be using a chair and a bolster for the first pose. If you don't have a bolster, you could potentially still practice this by putting a lot of padding over the handle of the chair, so lots of folded blankets. The bolster offers a bit of back support, but also a lot of padding between the handle and the chair. We want to lean back into the bolster, but take the hips forward so that you really do feel that you can lean your upper back against the handle. So when the upper back leans into the handle, we're starting to feel that the upper back, the thoracic spine, is being pushed forward to the chest, which helps open the chest. So we're lifting the sternum, spreading the collarbones, but then we're going to stretch the arms up. So let's interlock the fingers and straighten your elbows, stretch your arms up and over behind the head if you can, and lean back into the bolster so that you're feeling the handle behind the bolster press the thoracic spine deeply into the body to help with the lift of the chest. Let the head lean back into the bolster as well, as if you're trying to look up and back. And then you can bring the arms forward and down, and we'll swap the interlock of the fingers. So opposite index finger interlocking on top. Press the palms forward, elbows straight, lean the head back into the bolster, press backwards, take your arms up and back. And again, if you're wanting to feel the thoracic spine, move in towards the chest. Breathe smoothly. And then you can let go the grip of the arms. We'll move the bolster out of the picture now. Some of you might like to put the bolster on the floor for the hips for the next practice. You might also want to put a blanket here so that there's a bit of padding on the front of the seat. So I'll start using the bolster. Some of us may not need it. It can depend on our upper back and how stiff our back and shoulders are, but also how long our spine is relative to the height of our seat. So if we start, you can sit on the bolster to start, or you could just start with the hips up and let yourself lean back onto the chair. So now the back ribs, shoulder blades and head rest on your chair seat. The hips are up, the hands are holding the top handle of the chair, and the elbows are shoulder width. And then as we intend to lower the hips, we lift the head up and feel the pressure of the front of the seat in our thoracic spine. Now, because the bolster's quite high and my spine's quite long, I'm feeling the pressure of the seat in the lower aspect of my thoracic spine, and it would be better to feel it higher up in that upper spine region. So that's where I said the bolster may be appropriate for some of you, but maybe not others. So I'm going to eliminate the bolster so I can reach my hips further down towards the floor, which will take my back bend higher up into the back. So again, we can start with the hips off the floor and we lower ourselves down onto the seat. And as I said before, the hands are holding the handle, the elbows are shoulder width, and you start with the hips up. But then as you lower the hips, feel where the edge of the seat is in your back. Make sure it's not down in the lower ribs. Bring it more to the middle ribs. So perhaps you can feel the lower tip of the shoulder blade skimming the front of the seat as you lower the hips. Now the hips don't have to go all the way down because we're moving in and out of that pose. So you're pulling on the handle, keeping the elbows shoulder width apart as you lower the hips, mobilizing the spine, and then lift the hips again. Let's do this with the breath. Inhale, exhale, lower the hips. Ideally, you're feeling the chair in the lower shoulder blade area, upper back. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower the hips again. Whether the hips reach to the floor or to the bolster or maybe even a brick, it doesn't necessarily matter because we're really just focusing on mobilizing the upper spine. Exhale, lower the hips. The head lifts. And inhale, up again. Let's do one more. Exhale, lower the hips. Keep the elbows shoulder width apart. And then inhale back up again. Now to come out of the pose, you'll lower the hips to the floor. You can let go the handle and come down. And we'll sit just for a moment, relaxing the back, relaxing the arms. Moving on, we'll take the chair out of the way and bring our bolster back in. Place the bolster along the length of the mat. We'll come to lie with the front body on the bolster. So you have the pelvis on the bolster, the knees on the floor, toes can point back. And then when you bring your chest down, take your hands underneath your shoulder tips. So with the pelvis on the bolster, make sure you're far enough back that you can descend the tailbone. Lengthen the tailbone towards the knees. So you're taking some of the arch out of the lower back. We're wanting to bring some arch into the upper back. So as you press into the hands, slowly peel the chest up, but dig the pubis into the bolster so that you can keep lengthening the tailbone to your knees. The elbows may need to stay bent. If you straighten the elbows and your back is not mobilizing, your shoulders will probably pull up into your neck and roll forward, and we don't want that. So asking the back to mobilize, keep the elbows bent and rolling backwards towards your hips, shoulders press back and down, and asking the upper back to arch, not the lower back. So keep drawing the tailbone to your knees and then come back down. So remember where we had the chair in the back there around the lower shoulder blade area. See if you can remember the impression of the front of the seat of the chair as you again press the hands into the floor. Drive the pubis into the bolster, tailbone lengthens down towards the knees, and as you press the hands into the floor, roll the shoulder tips back and down, and then come back down again. If you feel that you can go a little further, the hands can come back more alongside the lower rib region. Elbows stay in, shoulder tips press away from the floor, and again, keep the pelvis on the bolster. So you're pressing into the bolster, peeling the chest up. Now potentially the elbows can straighten, so we're coming more into upward facing dog pose. But as you press down the hands, roll the shoulders back and down, mobilize your upper back, and then come back down again. Now, if that feels too strong, particularly if you feel like it's sitting in your lower back quite significantly, take your hands forward again. So then it's more an expression of Bhujangasana, the cobra pose. So find out what works for you, and you can explore. Maybe the hands come halfway between the 2 points. Press into the hands, lift your chest, but drive the pubis into the bolster, move the tailbone in, so you're lengthening your lower back, and come back down again. Again, you can explore shifting the hands, but roll the shoulder tips back. Lifting up, the knees are staying on the floor, tailbone moves in, and we're mobilizing the upper back. And then you can come back down and relax completely. So feel free to rest the arms, relax the spinal muscles. And then when you're ready, you can come up off the bolster. And let's just sit for a moment. If you're capable of kneeling, you can just kneel. Otherwise, perhaps you sit on the buttocks and do simple cross legs or stretch the legs out forward. Just wanting to find a neutral position for the spine. We're going to bring the chair back into place. Let's move the bolster. Make sure you've got a blanket or two. As I set the chair up, I want the back of the chair facing me, and I'm going to use a blanket and fold it significantly, so that's sitting on the handle of the chair. Now, depending on your flooring as to whether you want another blanket under the knees. We'll be coming down onto the knees for Ustrasana, the camel pose, but we'll be supporting the back of the neck. So we can come down onto the knees, and the feet can come back between the legs of the chair. Now, when we look at the height of my body, where the neck is relative to the handle, we think, oh, that's a long way back. So if you do feel stiff, when you go to arch back, you'd be taking the chair in closer to you, leaning the chair onto its front legs so that the neck support is higher, and you take the head back here. Then I'm not asking too much of my spine in terms of arching the back. But if you can go more deeply into the pose, then we can take the chair further back. It can be more on its front legs. If you need the neck support to be lower, then you take the chair further back and you lean the chair onto its back legs, and you see how the neck support is lower. But when we're leaning back, we want to try and take the arch from the lumbar spine into the upper thoracic. So that area that we were feeling against the front of the seat before. Let's start by pressing the shin bones down. So shin bones, ankles, front feet, press down. Lift the front pelvic bones up. Lengthen the lumbar spine by drawing the tailbone down, zipping the navel up. And then we take the hands back to the legs of the chair and start to mobilize the upper back. So feel as if I've got my hand here between the shoulder blades in that thoracic spine, pressing the spine up into the sternum as you intend to open the chest. And then you take yourself backwards. The hands can walk down along the legs of the chair, and you decide, do you want to lean the chair onto its front legs or onto its back legs, or can you keep all 4 feet of the chair on the floor? But you find support for the neck. Drive the shin bones down, press the hips forward. Zip the navel up, keep the tailbone lengthening down, and lift from the lumbar up to the thoracic. Lift the thoracic up into the breastbone as you expand the chest. Shoulder tips roll back and down. Then to come out of the pose, you lift the head up and come away from the chair, and we'll sit back and we'll rest. Resting the buttocks on the heels if you can. Otherwise, you could potentially sit on the chair or just sit with the legs out in front if the knees don't like kneeling. Let's go again. One more Ustrasana, camel pose. So we've got knees and feet hip width apart. Press the shins down. So the action would be driving the shins down like so. So that as soon as you do that, there's a rebound lift and a tension that comes to the front body and the spine. So shin bones drive down, get your chair in, move the hips forward, tailbone down, lift the navel up, take yourself back, find your support, make sure the blanket doesn't fall off. Find your support for the neck, press the shoulder tips back and down. And go on driving the shins down. That will help bring awareness to the placement of the hips. So shins, ankles, front feet press down. Outer hips move forward. Pubis to navel lifts up. And as you're intending to lift and broaden the chest, move the thoracic spine in. The spine that's between your shoulder blades, move that in and up towards the breastbone. Shoulders roll back and down. And you're breathing smoothly. and then come up and out of the pose. And again, we can sit and find neutral. Then to start to release the back, we can use the chair. We'll turn the chair around so the seat faces us. Now, a good practice for problematic knees is to wedge a blanket in here, in the back of the knees, and have height between the buttocks and the heels. So that may be something that you like to try if the knees don't like kneeling so deeply. And then we'll stretch forward. So the forearms can come to the seat, the forehead on the forearms. Knees can be together or apart. But you feel how we're broadening the sacrum, lengthening and broadening the lumbar spine. When you're ready, you can come up and out of the pose. We were just touching on a few beginner back bends in this class and trying to encourage more awareness about mobilizing the thoracic spine. If you would like to go deeper with your back bends, keep an eye out for the video I post next week. And if you like practicing with me, I invite you to check out the video library on my website, heatherkitchenyoga.com.au. There are over 450 full-length classes in that library, and you can start your membership with a 7-day free trial. That's it for today. Thanks for joining me.
For more in-depth teaching, check out the video library on my website, heatherkitchenyoga.com.au. The link is in the description box below.